Let us look at this topic. Business functions, activities, and processes. I want to look at business functions, activities, and processes. Business functions, business activities, and business processes. So let's look at business functions. When we talk about business functions, we are majorly concerned about a number of units, sections, or departments that are being established in a given organization. By business functions, in a simple sentence, we can equate it with business departments, with various departments, various units, various sections, or what have you, which are said to be existing in a particular organization, and the purpose of which is to influence the direct production of goods and services in order to achieve broad organizational goals and objectives. So by definition, business functions can simply be described as the major functions or departments which exist within a given organization, and the purpose of which, like I've said, is to influence the direct production of goods and services in order to achieve organizational goals and objectives. We have a number of functions or departments that have been established, especially in a large business organization or large business corporation, as the case may be. When a particular establishment is very large, as a matter of fact, the activities may not be coordinated, at the central level. Rather, various departments or functions will have to be established in order to facilitate the direct production of goods and services at various departments that have been established. And each of these functions, perform different roles. They perform different independent roles, and their roles are independent of one another. And as a matter of fact, they also help to complete the production process of certain goods and services. Some of the major functions of business organizations are: we have the marketing function, or we can call it marketing department; we have the finance department; we have the production department; we have sales department, human resource department, and we have administrative department, among others. All these are some of the major functions that have been established in a particular business organization. And each of the functions we have established here, they perform different functions. And there is no duplication of functions or roles, as their roles are different in nature. And as a matter of fact, they also help to complement the activities of the organization in different forms. Like the marketing department perform roles that are related to marketing. Likewise, any role that has to do with, finance is one of the major roles being played by finance function or finance department, and a number of other departments or functions which exist in a given organization. So let's look at business activities. By business activities, these are the various productive activities and other assigned responsibilities on various identified functions in any business organization. When a particular firm is being established, or when an organization is being established, the purpose of which the firm is being established is to carry out various productive activities. And these activities are simply called business activities. And by business activities, we simply mean all forms of activities or all forms of economic and productive activities that are carried out within a given business organization. And these activities actually depend on the functions or departments that have been established in that particular organization. Like I've said, some of those functions or departments that we have highlighted, they carry out different functions or different activities. And these activities they are carrying out are best regarded as their assigned duties and responsibilities. So it follows the division of labor, or the concept of division of labor and specialization, which means each of these functions or department we have identified, perform different functions, and as a matter of fact, they are so specialized in those functions and responsibilities which they actually perform in a given organization, and the purpose of which is to facilitate the direct production of goods and services on one hand, as well as contributing significantly towards achieving the set goals and objectives of the organization. So each of these department of functions, is actually known with a number of specialized functions and other responsibilities, and this helps to facilitate the achievement or realization of broad organizational goals and objectives. For example, let me be more specific here. Look at all the major departments of functions that we have identified. Their various activities are different. For example, like marketing department. Marketing department carry out a number of activities that are targeted at marketing various products and other services that are being provided by a given business organization. They try to put in place appropriate measures to ensure that the product or services being produced or provided by the firm are highly marketed or marketable as the case may be, or they get to the final consumer through various means, medium, and what have you. So that's one of the major activities that are being carried out by the marketing department. Their sole responsibility is just to facilitate or develop appropriate measures and other techniques that can improve the level of marketability of the products and other services that are being provided by the business organization. Likewise, we look at finance department. Finance department also needs to carry out a number of financial activities in such a way that they have to look at some of the measures that can be developed that will help them to achieve effective and efficient use of the available financial resources. In this case, a number of techniques can be employed for the purpose of allocating the available scarce resources among competing ends, or if there are a number of projects that are available, and if the projects are said to be mutually exclusive, it is the duty of the finance function or department to allocate resources to those projects that promise highest return within a shortest period of time. And apart from that, they also need to develop appropriate measures that will help to improve the financial position of the business organization in order to achieve set goals and objectives. Likewise, the production department is also established to carry out various business activities. The main activities usually carried out at production department is that of developing measures that will help to facilitate the direct production of goods and services. That function or department must combine various resources, both human and material, which will help it to achieve a sound productive use, as well as facilitating the direct production of goods and services, the purpose of which is to achieve set goals and objectives. So the major activities that are being carried out by production department is just to make sure that appropriate measures are developed which will help to facilitate the direct production of goods and services, so as to improve the standard of living, as well as meeting the needs and want of the teamy consumers. Then likewise, we have sales department or sales function. The major responsibilities or activities that are usually undertaken by sales department or function is to develop appropriate measures which will help them to improve the level of sales of various products and services that are being provided by the firm. Likewise, human resource department, we need to have a number of people or workers that will help to facilitate the achievement of set goals and objectives. So it is one of the main duties and activities by human resource department to recruit or to bring into the firm or organization a number of people that can help or that can be charged with the responsibility of delivering, certain goods and services to the organization in order to achieve set goals and objectives. What we are talking about here is the main responsibilities of human resource department is just to identify a number of people who have the required skills, abilities, and knowledge, and who can effectively and efficiently work towards achieving common goals which the establishment or the organization is actually known for. So as a matter of fact, that department is majorly relevant in the areas of recruitment, selection, staffing, and what have you. So all these functions that we have identified, all departments, they perform or they carry out various activities. And like I've said, their activities are different from one another because of the fact that those functions are independent of one another. So let us look at business objectives. Business objectives. Like we have said before, business can be defined as any activity that a man engages in order to earn a living for the purpose of meeting and satisfying his own needs and wants, or for the purpose of satisfying human wants and what have you. So business activities have been discussed extensively as those productive activities and other assigned responsibilities which are given to a particular function or department that exists within a given organization in order to achieve set goals and objectives upon which the organization is actually based. So by business objectives, we are more concerned with the overall goals and objectives upon which business organizations are established to achieve. It is believed that when businesses are being undertaken or conducted, the purpose is to achieve certain targets, hence business objectives. As unlike we have defined, these are the overall goals and objectives or other targets upon which business organizations are established to achieve. These business objectives, they range from growth and development, that is, growth and development is one of the main objectives of any business organization. Likewise, profitability. We also have what? Expansion. That is, the scope of the business should be expanded upon. Then we have effective and efficient use of resources, and so on. There are a number of objectives that underline or that characterize the establishment of any business organization, but some of them actually range from growth and development. It is the responsibility of the management of a particular business organization to develop appropriate measures which will help to stimulate the growth and development and other stability processes of a given business organization. And apart from that, profitability. Profit motive is always believed to be the guiding principle upon the establishment of any business organization, especially, private businesses or some of those businesses that are being undertaken by private individuals. Profit motive is always the guiding principle behind the establishment of these business organizations. Apart from that, the expansion of the business. The scope of the business must be always expanded upon. One of the main objectives of business organization is just to expand in scope and in size, and as a matter of fact, a number of measures or other policies, even a number of other programs, will have to be developed or employed for the purpose of facilitating the expansion of a given business organization, either in terms of scope or size as the case may be. Likewise, the effective and efficient use of resources must also be understood or clearly stated as one of the core objectives of a business organization. It is generally believed that organizations are usually blessed with resources, both human and material resources, and these resources are being combined for the purpose of producing goods and services which will satisfy the needs, wants, tastes, and preferences of the final consumer. So to achieve this, the available resources of a given establishment will have to be utilized effectively and efficiently. So when there is effectiveness and efficiency in the use of these resources, it is then believed that goods and services will be produced at minimum cost, and as a matter of fact, maximum profits will be achieved by the business owner or the business enterprise as a whole. So these are some of the major objectives that characterize or that underline the establishment of a given business venture. Like we have said, the objectives are many, but they always range from profitability, expansion, effective and efficient use of resources, growth and development, among others. So let's look at this. Relationships between business functions, activities, and objectives. Relationship between business functions, business activities, and business objectives. It is very important to note that there is a significant relationship that exists among these concepts that we have highlighted: business functions, business activities, and business objectives. From the foregoing, we have been able to look at business functions as those departments, units, sections, or what have you that are being established in a given organization, the purpose of which is to complement the efforts of the organization as a whole in order to achieve broad goals and objectives. We have also identified a number of business functions such as marketing, sales, human resource, purchase, finance, administrative, and what have you. All these are some of the major functions that are being established in a given business organization. And like I've told us, each of these functions works towards achieving common goals and objectives. Apart from that, business activities, these are the responsibilities or these are the productive activities that are being carried out by these business functions that we have identified, and I also told us that they carry out different activities based on the nature of their establishment, and their activities are different from one another. They are independent of one another, and all these functions actually work towards achieving common goals and objectives. Then business objectives, that is the overall goals and targets upon which business organizations are established or business activities are coordinated, organized, and conducted. However, the significant relationship between and among these concepts are that there must be a clearly defined goals and objectives upon which a particular business is being established. And when these goals and objectives are being clearly defined, it is then we can be able to establish various functions or departments that will help towards achieving or actualizing all the objectives that are said to be characterizing the business organization. And when these business functions or departments have been clearly established, it is then they can then be assigned with different duties, responsibilities, or business activities. So this simply shows that there is a clear-cut, significant relationship between business functions, business activities, and business objectives. All these concepts are said to be interrelated, they are intertwined, and they are interdependent. Reason being that the objectives are those statements or other written statements or targets which the organization or the business organizations are established to achieve. Having defined those goals and objectives, we need to develop appropriate functions or departments that will help to facilitate the achievement of all these goals and objectives. And finally, we have to assign various activities to all these functions and departments that we have established. The purpose of doing all this is to make sure that the achievement of goals and objectives that underline the organization's establishment is actually, accomplished. This is just a simple way of drawing the significant relationship between business functions, activities, and objectives.